In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a beautiful background shifting full screen menu, and we'll do all of this with Elementor Pro and no additional plugin. Hello, I'm your host Ksenio from Ksenio.com. I'm the digital alchemist, and let's take a look at what we're going to build today. So as you can see, I'm on the desktop version, and when I click on the hamburger icon, this is our full screen navigation. And as you can see, when I hover over the elements, the background is shifting. Okay, now let's take a look at the tablet version. Well, obviously here there's no hover state unless you are using the Apple Pencil or any kind of similar pencil for any other device. But most people won't have the hover feature. So when you click on it, for a slight moment, you will see the background shifting, and then it will go to the page. And the same goes for the mobile version. As you can see, when I click on it, a change of background, and then once again in the final demo will link to the appropriate page. Now, in case you're wondering, it works on the mobile navigation too, but more about that later. Okay, first of all, let's give credit where it's due, because for this tutorial I've used the code from Ivan Grozdich that I've just slightly modified. Okay, next let's look at what I've been using to create this project. So I'm using the Astra theme, the free version. So you may as well install it if you want to follow along. And then in terms of plugins, I'm using Elementor and Elementor Pro. And if you're serious about web design and you don't have Elementor Pro yet, you'll find a handy link in the description below. Now, the only reason why I recommend Elementor Pro is because I absolutely love it and recommend it all the time. And it gives a little kickback if you purchase through my link. And that, my friend, allows me to keep on creating free content just for you. Okay, next we need to optimize our images, and that's very, very crucial because as you can see, the full screen menu is preloading each image. So you really want those images to be top-notch optimized. Now, the good news is that WordPress now natively accepts the WebP format. And if you don't know, the WebP format is a very, very lightweight format. So let me show you. So now I'm in Affinity Photo, but you can use Photoshop, the GIMP, or whatever software you want to use. And I'm just going to save for the web. And right now I'm going to save a JPEG with 100% just to show you the initial size. So I'm going to export and I'm going to call it one original. Okay, so now let's take a look. So as you can see, the original is 2 megabytes. That's a lot. That's way too much. If we have 5 images for the 5 items in the menu, that means 10 megabytes. And that's a no-go. Okay, next I'm going to use an app called Squoosh. Actually, it's a website, so it's squoosh.app. It's a website made by Google. I'm just going to drag the original image, and then in the drop-down, I want to select the WebP format. Do not select WebP v2 because it's unstable, so WebP. And then I want 80% of quality, and I can see the before and after, and to be honest, I don't see any difference. And as you can see, I've saved a whopping 94% because now I'm down to 120 kilobytes. So let me save this, and I'm going to call it to optimized. Okay, and as you can see, the original JPEG is 2 megabytes and the optimized image is 120 kilobytes. So make sure you do the same process for all of your images, especially the ones that need to be in the full screen navigation. Okay, first of all, we want to take care of our header and footer, and I'm going to show you why. So right now, this is what I have. So this is a page with no content. And as you can see, you see the original header and footer from the Astra theme, and we want to change that. So for that, let's go to WordPress, and then you want to go to Templates, Theme Builder. Next, you want to click on footer. So we'll start with the footer and click on add new footer. And I'm going to call it new footer. Click on create template. Okay, we don't want any of that. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on the footer because this is not the focus of this tutorial. So basically, I'm just going to copy a footer I've already made, and I'm just going to paste it. And I'm quickly going to edit it, section, style, and I'm just going to change the main color, and then I click on publish. It's going to ask me to add a condition. So by default, it says include on the entire website, and I'm just going to save and close. Okay, and now if I go back to my page, I refresh the page. As you can see, I have my new Elementor Pro custom footer, and now we need to do the same thing for the header. Okay, so back in WordPress, once again, I want to go to Templates, Theme Builder. Then I want to click on the header tab. Then click on add new header, and I'm going to call it new header. Click on create template. Okay, and we don't want any of that, so I'm just going to close this. Click on the plus sign. We're going to select one column. Then where it says content width, I want it to be full width. The height, I'm just going to leave it as it is. Next, where it says HTML tag, I want to change the default HTML tag to header. Next, I want to go to style, click on background type, and I'm going to pick the black color for the beginning because I'm going to change that in a moment, but just right now so we can see what we are doing. Next, I want to click on the border subtab, and then where it says border type, I want to select solid. Then I want to unlink the values, and I want to give it a border of 1 pixel. And for the color, I'm going to pick this color code that you see on screen. So E7, E0, E0. Next, I want to click on the advanced tab. And then I'm just going to unlink the margin values and the same for the padding values. And for the padding, I want to give it a top padding of 10, 30 on the right, 10 at the bottom, and 30 on the left. And next, I want to go into mobile mode, unlink the values, and now it's going to be 10 at the top, 20 on the right, 10 at the bottom, and 20 on the left hand side. Okay, next, let's go back into desktop mode. And then I want to select my column by clicking on the icon here, or I can use the navigator. And if you don't know, the navigator icon is right here at the bottom left corner. And when you click on it, you can toggle it on and off. So with my column selected, where it says widget space, I'm going to type 0. And next, where it says vertical align, I want to change this to middle. Next, click on the style tab, and then background tab, I want to select classic. And now you can pick any color and make it transparent. So drag the slider all the way to the left. And next, I want to click on the advanced tab, and I'm just going to unlink the margin values and the same for the padding values. Okay, next, I'm just going to right click on the icon for my column, and I'm going to click on duplicate. So now I have 2 columns. And next, I'm going to click on the widgets icon, and I'm just going to look for an image. It's right here. So I'm just going to drag an image in the first column. Then I'm going to click on the image, and I'm going to locate my logo. So I'm going to pick this one, click on insert media. And next I want to align it on the left where it says link. I want to select custom URL and then click on the dynamic tags. And I'm just going to select site URL. Next, I want to click on the style tab, and then where it says width, I'm going to pick the pixel value and I'm going to select 35 pixels. Okay, next, once again, I'm going to click on the widgets icon, and I'm just going to type icon in the search engine, and then I'm just going to drag and drop an icon widget in the second column. Okay, so first of all, you want to click on the icon, and I'm going to look for grip lines. I'm going to pick this one, click on insert. Next, I want to align it on the right hand side, and now we need to link it. But we can't link it because we haven't built the pop-up yet. So we'll have to come back to this later. Next, you want to click on the style tab. And then for the color, I'm going to pick white. And then on hover, I'm going to pick a light gray. And next, where it says size, I'm going to enter 30. Okay, let's take a look in responsive mode. So I'm going to click on the tablet icon. So it's looking good, and let's take a look at the mobile, and we need to change something here. So by default, let's go back to tablets. Let's pick our first column, then go to the layout tab, and let's make it 50%. And let's do the same thing for the second column, layout tab, and 50%. Okay, and now let's go back into mobile mode. Let's do the same, first column, 50%, and second column, 50%. Okay, looking good. So let me click on publish. Okay, it's going to ask me to add a condition. Click on add condition, and by default, it's going to add it on the entire website, which is what we want in this case. Click on save and close. Okay, and now if I go back to the front end, let me refresh the page. And as you can see, it's working fine. We have our custom header and our custom footer from Elementor Pro. Now, as you can see in the original demo, it's a transparent header, whereas what we've built now is a header with a solid black background color. So to fix that, we need to select our section either by clicking on section in the navigator or by clicking on the 6 dots right here on the section itself. So once you've selected our section, we want to go back to the style tab, and then where it says color, we want to open the color palette, and then we're just going to drag the opacity slider all the way to the left. And next you want to go to the advanced tab, and where it says bottom, we're going to input a negative value. Why negative? Because we want to shift the content up. So it's really going to depend on the height of your own header, and that's going to depend on your logo. But for this example, it's minus 93. So I'm just going to type 93 and put a minus in front. And then for the tablet, I'm yelling the values, is going to be minus 73. And then for the mobile, let me link the value. And once again, it's going to be minus 93. So like I said, you will need to play with the margin values depending on the height of your header. Okay, next you want to click on the motion effects sub tab, and where it says sticky, you want to select top and make sure it's sticky on desktop, tablet, and mobile. So once you're done, make sure you click on update. And now we are ready to start creating our content. Okay, next let's start creating our content. So in WordPress, you want to go to pages, add new, and then I'm going to call it my page. And because I'm using Astra, I'm just going to disable the title, then click on publish twice, and then I can click on edit with Elementor. Okay, the idea is that you're going to create one page for each item of the navigation, and it can be really simple. This is just to see the difference when you click on the links. So I'm just going to create a simple one with one column, then I'm going to make it full width. Then for the height, I'm gonna pick a minimum height of 100 VH. Next, for the style, I'm going to pick a black background, and then I'm just going to drag a heading, and I'm going to call it home, and I'm just quickly going to change the color and the font size as well as the font. So that's the first one called home. So let me click on update. And like I said, basically you want to repeat the process for each page that you want to link to from the menu. Now, as you saw in the original demo, I want to make it look a little bit nicer. So initially in a previous tutorial, I decided to recreate an awards-winning website, and it went a little something like this. And then I created a fake brand and decided to make the website match the new brand. And it went a little something like this. Okay, now that we got everything that we need, let's start creating our full screen menu. Okay, next in WordPress, you want to go to templates, pop-ups, and next you want to click on add new. Make sure it's a pop-up in the drop down, and I'm going to call it pop-up menu shifter, and click on create template. Okay, so we don't want any of that. So first of all, I'm going to click on the plus sign, then I'm going to select one column. Next, where it says content width, I'm going to select full width. And next, where it says height, I'm going to pick a minimum height of 100 VH. Next, I want to click on the advanced tab, and I'm just going to unlink the margin values and the same for the padding values. Next, I'm going to click on the widgets icon, and I'm just going to start typing HTML, and I want to pick this one here, so it's the HTML widget. I'm just going to drag it, and right away I'm going to right click on the edit icon and duplicate. Next, I'm going to select my first HTML widget icon by clicking on the edit icon. And next, I'm going to copy all the HTML code that you'll find in the companion blog post. And of course, you'll find a link to this blog post in the description below. So now I can just paste it where it says HTML code. Let me paste all of this. Okay. And next, I want to do the same thing, but with the second HTML widget. But this time I'm going to paste JavaScript code. So make sure you have your second HTML widget selected. And once again, I'm going to go and copy all the code, but this time the JavaScript code. So let me just copy this. And once again, I'm going to paste it. So now I got my JavaScript code pasted. Okay, and next I want to take care of the pop-up settings. So to access the pop-up settings, you want to click on the gear icon at the bottom left corner of the window. Click on settings, and first of all, where it says width, I want to change the width to 100 VW. Next, where it says height, I want to change it to fit to screen. Now for the content position, it should be on top. The horizontal and vertical position should be in the middle. I don't want any overlay, so I'm going to switch this off, and I want to keep the close button. Now where it says entrance animation, I want to select fade in. And for the exit animation, I want to select fade out. And for the animation duration, I want to type 0,2. And next, I want to click on the responsive icon. And for the tablet animation, I'm going to select sliding right. And for the exit animation, this time I want slide out right. And next, I'm going to choose the mobile version. And even though it's already picking this from the tablet version, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to pick slide in right. And once again, for the exit animation, slide out right. Let's go back into desktop mode. And next, I want to click on the general settings sub-tab. And where it says HTML tag, I want to select header. Next, I want to click on the style tab and then select a background type classic. And I'm just going to pick the black color. And next, I want to click on the close button sub-tab. And for the color, I'm going to pick a gray color. If you want to know the color code, it's D2C7C7. And then for the size, I'm going to input 30. Next, I want to click on the advanced tab. And then where it says disable page scrolling, I want to turn this on. And next, I want to click on the custom CSS sub-tab. And once again, I want to go and get the code from the companion blog post, but this time the CSS code. So I'm going to copy all of this, then go back, and I'm just going to paste it. And as you can see, now we have our menu fully working. Okay, so let's save our work by clicking on publish. So it's going to ask you, where do you want to display your template? Click on add condition. You want to show this on the entire website, then click next, and once again, click next, and then click on save and close. Okay, we're going to edit our menu in a moment as well as change the images, but right now we want to go back to the header that we created previously, and you want to make sure that you select the navicon. So it's the icon in the second column that you can see right here. Now you can't really see it because it's white on white, but in case you are lost, just go to the navigator and make sure you select the icon. Okay, once that is done, you want to go to the content tab, and then where it says link, you want to click on the dynamic tags icon. Then you want to go all the way down to pop-up, then click on the wrench icon, click on all, and then in the search engine, you can start typing the name of your pop-up. Mine was pop-up shifter, so I'm just going to type shifter, and there you go. So it's found it, and now I can just update my header. Okay, now that we've linked our header, let's test it, and if I click, as you can see, it's working fine. Okay, now how do we edit this full screen navigation? So first of all, you want to make sure that you select our first HTML widget, which is just about HTML. And just to make things clear, let's rename the second one to JS. Okay, so make sure you select the first one. Okay, and now we want to make the space where we work on the code a little bit bigger, and don't be afraid. Even if you don't know anything about code, don't be scared. All you need to do is copy and paste, and it's just about logic. So fear not, my friend. So as you can see, when I hover over each menu element, it actually preloads a section. So all of these are sections that are preloaded, and you can see it here in the code. So this one is section number 1, this one is section number 2, number 3, 4, 5, and so on. Now let's scroll down to the very bottom of the code, and just before where it says page cursor, there is a chunk of code here, this one here, and this is where you actually change the labels for the menu. So let me zoom back out. So I'm just going to change the first one to home, and as you can see, it says home, but you can't see it right now because I need to save the page and refresh. But if I leave it like this, it's not going to work well. So let me show you. Let me update. And now let's refresh on the front end. Now let me open. And as you can see, it says home, but in the background, and then there's menu. So let me close this and let's go back. So where it says home, we've changed it, as you can see, but then right next to it, there is data hover, and we need to change it here too. So home and home. And we want to do the same thing for each of the menu item. So you see the second one, I've made it easy for you. It's called menu 2, then menu 3, 4, 5. So we're going to change this. So in my case, I'm just going to quickly change it. Okay, let me zoom back out. Let me click on update. And now if I go back, let me refresh. Then let me open the menu. And as you can see, now it's working fine. Now, I don't know if you can see it here, but there is some text. So let me change, let me pick another color. This one here is easier to see. So basically the same label that we use, we can put it here with an angle. And for that, we want to go back to the very beginning of the code. As I told you, each of these blocks are sections. And basically you see here menu 1, then menu 2, 3, 4, and so on. So I'm going to do the same thing I did earlier on with my menu names. Okay, let's save our work. And then let's go back and refresh. Okay, and now, well, you can't really see it. It's going to be easier when we change the images, but it's updated the text on the left-hand side. Now it's working fine, but let's say you want to add a 6th element in the navigation. So you need to identify each section, and then I'm just going to pick the last section. So the 5th section, I'm going to copy, and then I'm just going to paste it, and I'm going to change it to menu 6. And then I need to go all the way down what we did earlier on. And this time I'm just going to copy from LI to the closing LI. So let me copy this, and then I'm just going to paste it, and I'm going to give it the same name. So menu 6. And as you can see now, it's here in the navigation. And then don't forget where it says data hover, we also want to change this to menu 6. Okay, let me zoom back out, click on update. And now if I refresh, as you can see, we got our menu number 6. Now I actually don't want a 6th element in the navigation, so I'm just going to remove the last node, and the same thing for the section. So I'm just going to select the whole section and just remove it. Okay, now how do we link from these menu items? So as you can see here at the very bottom of the HTML code, we have our UL tag. Then each LI tag is a menu item. And then you see where it says href. This is where you can change. So for example, for home, I can put a URL here. So let me show you. Let me pick the Viking one. And then where it says href, between the quotation marks, I'm just going to paste a URL. Then let me zoom back out. Let's click on update. Okay, and now let's go back. Let's refresh. Okay, and now if I click on Viking, oh, what a coincidence. It's my YouTube channel. So if you love web design, make sure you subscribe and smash the notification bell so that you don't miss anything. Okay, so you get the idea. And you want to do this for each menu item, and ideally you want to link to internal pages, of course, which I will do in a moment. Now, how do you change the background images? And by the way, if you notice, it seems like the background images have disappeared, but it's actually working fine. It's actually just here in the back office that we don't see it, but fear not, because it's working fine. So if you want to make sure you see the images, we just want to refresh the page after having make sure that you saved your work. And as you can see, now we see the images. So once again, I want to select my HTML widget. And then at the very top of the code, where it says image src, this is where you paste the URL for your image. So in my case, I've already uploaded all images to the media library in WordPress. And then all you need to do is click on an image and then copy the link of this image. And then come back here, and then for each section you want to select the URL of the previous image. You want to remove it, make sure you don't remove the quotation marks, and then in between the quotation marks you want to paste the new image URL. Okay, so I've replaced all the images URL. So now let me refresh, and now if I open the full screen navigation, as I hover over the menu items, as you can see, I got my own images and it's looking beautiful. Now I've also changed all the links as I showed you how to do earlier on. So if I click on Vince's, there you go. Let me go back, Viking, and shop. Now, if you look at the navigation, you may be wondering, how do we decide which font we are using, as well as how do we decide about the colors? So if you want to know where you can control this, you want to make sure that within the pop-up, you select the pop-up settings at the bottom left corner of the window. Then you want to go to the Advanced tab and then open the Custom CSS sub-tab. So as you can see at the very top of the file, you can see the colors. So you can change the colors here. And then it's using an opacity. So for the navigation, I'm using the white color, and this is the code here. And then if you scroll down to line number 193, you can see opacity 0.5. So if I put it at 1, it's going to be completely opaque. And if I put it at 0, it's going to be completely transparent. Now, when it comes to the font, I'm using the Poppins font. You can use any other font, but you want to have a big, bold font. Otherwise, it's not going to look really good, with a transparent font with the outline. So for this, if you want to change it, you need to go to line number 70, where it says Poppins. You can pick any other font that you want to use, but also on line 183. So let me scroll down. As you can see here, Poppins, and then line 213. So right here, Poppins. Okay, before we talk about how we can make this even more interesting, we want to take a look at what we've built so far. So as you can see, when I hover over each element, the background shifts and it's beautiful. Now, you may have noticed a custom mouse cursor that you can see here, and then when I hover over the element, it just snaps and just make it an inverted cursor. So here it really makes sense because you never know which image is going to be in the background. And if you notice, I've put an overlay on the images, but actually this overlay, I've built it straight inside my software like Photoshop or Affinity Photo, because otherwise it might be a bit difficult to read the text, and that's one of the reasons why we're using an inverted cursor here. Okay, let's take a look at the tablet version, and now that we have links, let me show you. Let me click on Vince's. So as you can see, it quickly shifted the background and then went to the page. Let me do it one more time. Let's go to Vi Queen. As you can see, we saw the zoom in with the change of image, because of course there's no hover here, but still the effect is really nice. Okay, now let's take a look at the mobile version, and once again, if I tap on a menu item, it's going to show me a zoom in and then go straight to the page. So let's do it one more time. Now, as I told you, we can make this even more interesting, and we could use this on a horizontally scrolling website. And if you want to know how to do this, I created a tutorial, so you find a link for this in the description below. But whether you're using a horizontally scrolling website or a vertically scrolling website, what we want to take a look at here is the vertical navigation. So if I click on it, as you can see, it works just as well. It's looking beautiful and makes your website really look modern. Now, if you want to know how to create such a transparent vertical navigation, luckily for you, as you may have guessed, I've already covered that in a previous tutorial. You'll find the link in the description below, as well as in the card at the end of this video. Now, there is one more thing that you can do, and it's going to be the cherry on the cake, and it's actually very simple, because all you have to do is to give this video a thumbs up if you like the video. For you, it's just going to be a split second, but for me, that's going to change so much for this channel. Now, if you want more web design goodness, make sure you subscribe and smash the notification bell so that you don't miss anything. Now, I can't wait to see what you're going to come up with, and maybe you want to combine this tutorial with the vertical navigation and the horizontally scrolling website. Now, don't forget, I'm trying to build the content I wish I had when I got started, so I see you in the next one, and until then, take care and stay safe.